Welcome, everybody. Thank you. Welcome to another edition of this channel. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for the subscriptions and all the views and the comments. I really appreciate it. And guys, if you're going to subscribe to me, I'm going to, subscribe right back, whether you have content or not. But I hope to see your content soon. But right now, we're here to raise hell. What am I talking about? Run D.M.C, of course, the mobile Fidelity Sound Labs 45 RPM version that came out 2 years ago, limited to 3,000 copies. I ended up getting number 2,597. You can still find these on the market. You can find them on eBay, and you can find them for under $100 now, I think. And the reason I'm doing the video is because MoFi just re-released a bunch more, but on 33 RPM. So those are out there. I think they run like at $60, I think. But anyhow, I'm here to talk about this one. I'm here to talk about this album. What more can I say? 1986. I was a young lad in elementary school. And the impact of this album is undeniable. The first copy I got of this album was a bootleg version from the swap meet. I got it from a cousin who said, it's the same thing. And, he was one of those types. And that was the only way I ever heard this album or on the radio. And since then, streaming. But, I mean, out of all my records, out of all my, audiophile records, this has got to be like top 2. All right. This is way better than just the whole experience. Hearing it like this, you really get, the experience of, either being in the studio with these guys or them being in your room, performing this. I mean, it's just that amazing. History behind this, let me tell you, hip hop 101. What is it? A DJ who serves as the band, plays the beats, and then an MC or MCs, plural, rhyming over the beats. A really common thing to do is to, juggle a beat, right? Find a beat from another record, from another, song, and play it and basically create a loop that would therefore create a beat that the MCs can rhyme over. In this case, Run D.M.C decided to use a record that they thought was called, from a band they thought was called Toys in the Attic. And that, of course, was Aerosmith. But they didn't know the name of the band was Aerosmith. They just knew that there was a song on there called Walk This Way that had a cool beat that their DJ Jay, the late great Jam Master Jay, would take and basically do, play it, kind of like this and play the record. And, he needed 2, all right? He had 2 copies of Toys in the Attic, all right? Nowadays, you can just kind of punch them into your controller, but he had 2 copies, and he'd play the beat, kind of like this, and then he'd have the other one ready, and while that one was playing, he spins this one and plays it, and you get the idea, creating like a whole loop. By the way, if I get flagged for that shit or, or demonetized, who cares? This is a cool video. I don't know if it will, who cares? But that was fun. You get the idea. And then sometimes, in looping it, he might scratch it and go, you understand. So they were using the beat to Walk This Way to rhyme over. And when they were recording this album, their third album, I mean, they already done songs with rock riffs on them. I mean, that's what they were known for. You know, they weren't sampling. Everyone was sampling, you know, Funkadelic, James Brown, you know, maybe some Hall & Oates or something. Run DMC was, you know, using rock riffs in their music. It's on their first two albums. I mean, they have an album called King of Rock, for crying out loud. So this idea wasn't new, but when Rick Rubin, producer, heard it, the idea came to him, you know, that this shouldn't be just you guys rhyming over this Walk This Way beat. This should be a cover. I want you guys to cover Walk This Way. Now, Rick Rubin nowadays is, you know, this big super wizard shaman producer guru who has produced, you know, people like Johnny Cash and Red Hot Chili Peppers and The Strokes and you name it. Back then, he was a young hip hop producer who had just started a label called Def Jam. Their only artist on it at the time was, I think, LL Cool J. But he was producing this sucker, and it was his idea to do a cover. Now, Run and D did not want to do that. They did not want to rap Steven Tyler's lyrics, which they had no idea what the hell he was talking about. You know, the hey diddle diddle with your kitty in the middle, and you're swinging like a just don't care or whatever. They had no idea what this was. They're like, we don't want to say this stuff. And Rubin was like, trust me. And you guys know the rest. The rest is history. I mean, it's rap rock history. For better, for worse, it created, you know, genres that had never been created before. It was the first time that rock and roll and rap fused that way. It broke down walls. Literally, if you watch the video, you see Steven Tyler breaking through, knocking down the wall, and they perform on the song. So now what else did this album do? This album freaking revived the dead ass career of Aerosmith. And I mean, when I say revived, it not only revived them, it sent them into the freaking stratosphere. You know, literally, they did that Armageddon bullshit, right? And these dudes are out there touring right now as we speak. They're doing their farewell tour. Amazing. It started with this, you guys, right here. They were dead in the water. Look up the making of this album. Look up a Walk This Way. Check out Steven Tyler. I mean, he looks like the Bride of Frankenstein. Joe Perry's all stoned. But, you know, there's a spark. There was a spark in this song that ignited something in their asses that made them, you know, literally fly into outer space. So back to this album. How does it sound? Okay. Imagine, you know, having a DJ and an MC in your room and, you know, doing it live. All right. You can hear the spit off of D's and Run's voice. I mean, the beats, you can hear the scratching on so many of these songs. The key track for me on here is probably It's Tricky. All right. Reason being, I mean, I never liked It's Tricky. I mean, it's got a catchy, you know, chant, but I always thought it was, you know, a little boring. It was, you know, just this, you know, they're rapping over a My Sharona sample. And, you know, and then the video with Penn and Teller didn't help. So was never ever really impressed with that song until now. I mean, wow. First of all, hearing their delivery on the microphone, you know, you can hear them breathe. You know, it's an attack. Like I said, you can hear the spit coming out of there, you know, onto the mic. And as far as the track, it's no longer just a My Sharona sample. You can hear the DJ, Jay, the late great Jam Master Jay, moving the record around, just like I was earlier, well, pretending to, right? And moving that My Sharona track and going, the dun, 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 dun. And then you can even hear kind of like a slip up where he kind of touches the record a little too soon. And it doesn't matter. It sounds live. It sounds like somebody's moving my record player around. And then the delivery of the vocals on top of that is just outrageous. It made me like the song in a whole new way. It's not just a sample track, it's a performance. You can hear him spinning the different dun dun dun, and then the dun 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 dun. And like I said, there's even like a little slip up. It sounds great, guys. It sounds live. If you love hip hop, you got to hear that immediately. And now let me talk about the beats. The 808s. All right, the 808s on here. Back in the day, the 808s, you heard the 808s on either a boombox or somebody's raggedy system in their car. All right, and you heard the boom coming down the street before you saw the car, right? And it was going boom, boom, and that was the whole point, right? The more it rattled, the more it boomed, the cooler you were, the booming systems, right? Anyways, here you actually hear those booming, bouncy 808 beats. They bounce off of your face. I mean, they feel amazing. They punch you in the gut. There's no rattle, all right? And I mean, I turned this sucker up. I mean, I turned it up loud. There's no bounce, like a some sort of bouncy sound. There's no rattle. It's a hard, punchy 808 that like kicks you in the gut each time it hits, and it feels amazing. What more can I say about Run DMC Raising Hell, the mobile Fidelity Sound Labs version? If you get a chance to hear it, at someone's house or something, or if you feel like spending some money, hit me up. No, I'm just kidding. You can find these. They're not. They're widely available, and the new one, the 33 RPM, is available everywhere, I think. Look it up. Thanks for looking me up. Tell me what you think of Run DMC Raising Hell. What's your favorite track on here? All right. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.